All right. Let's get things started, everybody. Welcome. Go ahead and get this out of here. Make sure Yep, there we go. Cool. Okay, guys. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Good evening, everyone. I said everyone. You know why I'm here. This is your boy ABK, and thank you for checking out another one of my Forex and crypto weekly analysis. I appreciate it. And before we go ahead and get started, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, show us some love. The more you guys like and subscribe to our channel, the more we're able to grow, and the more we're able to show more people our analysis, help people out with figuring out a way where the market is going, showing what we're seeing in the markets and our personal opinions on where the markets are going to go. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and do some fundamental analysis, just going over the high impact news, because as I always say every week, I'm not necessarily a fundamental trader, but I do like to know when the high impact news are going to be released, so that I can know that, there's some high impact news that could bring some high volatility into the market, which can make the market move fast, so that's just what I usually like to do. I end up forgetting about half of these anyways, and so I have to go on and use Forex Factory or my FX book on a daily basis, so I could be like, that's right, this news is going to happen today. So Monday, November 15th, 6:30 p.m. So in 30 minutes is going to be monetary policy meeting minutes for Australian dollar. Well, not in 30 minutes, like in 25 minutes. 8:30 p.m. there's going to be Governor Lowe. They are going to be speaking. Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is going to be USD core retail sales and retail sales. So you want to watch out for that for the US dollar. Wednesday, 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, an hour before London session, there's going to be CPI, and then it's going to be for year to year. For the Canadian dollar at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is going to be CPI for the month to month, and US dollar tentative Treasury currency report. So this has been going on for the past 3 weeks. So it's going to be happening on Fridays. So that is the fundamentals in the market that we have. So now going on to the charts. Let me go ahead and drop this on full screen mode. And let's go ahead and just get new charts. If you guys want to know what happened throughout the week last week, or what I was seeing last week, you guys can go ahead and check that out. All right, so weekly time frame on DXY. Love this bullish weekly candle. Is showing that the DXY is continuing its bullish move to the upside. I was saying last week that there's this zone in between 94.555 and 94.800. That price was that price was having a difficulty breaking to the upside, right? And I was saying, hey, one thing that could happen was that if price does end up redoing a retracement, that it's probably going to end up going bullish to the upside, which it ended up doing, right? So now that we've gone that bullish move from the DXY, like, we necessarily don't want to try to like hop into anything right away. It wouldn't really be that wise to just hop into something, because we've just seen price break through this huge weekly zone right here, right? So right now I'm kind of just like not necessarily being I would say I'm being patient, but at the same time, I mean, if I just put this zone a little higher, where back in 2017 we had price using this as a resistance before dropping, so I'm gonna have to extend this zone out to up there as well. And you know, price is bullish on the weekly time frame since price has broken through these this lower high right here before price, well, it didn't make a lower low, it made an equal low, but this lower high right here, since price has broken through that, price has been bullish. And you know, from a weekly point of view, yes, a retracement would be very nice. You know, a retracement would be like, it's kind of needed at this point right now, right? But trying to go up against the trend at this point in time is not necessarily the wisest decision. Right now, I would just be like, okay, you want to wait for some price action to tell you that this thing is going to turn around, although it's bullish. And realistically speaking, since this is bullish, what I would kind of be expecting is, okay, if price does a retracement, let's just say from this previous bullish move that happened, if price makes a retracement, then what we're going to be expecting is something the likes of this, where price is going to come to 94.280 and then continue with the bullish move, right? However, I'm not really a fan of even trading that type of way, right? Price has already come up to this zone and making like higher highs and higher lows. I wouldn't want to just wait for this first retracement before going bullish right here. I would rather try to get it like this if I'm going for the real swing. Like, yes, an opportunity like up here, like, yes, you can try that out, but your chances of your stop loss getting hit are going to be high. And then just take a look at where your next entry would be if you were to try to buy again. Your stop loss would be basically where you would want to be getting in for an entry, that type of thing, you know. So that's why, like, I'm from right now, DXY, as much as, yes, I'm pretty sure there's so many people who are trying to like continue, like, try to sell it after it's made that bullish move like that. I'm not against the sells. I'm totally not against the sells right now. Absolutely, right? I'm not against them. I see them. It's pretty valid, but at the same time, again, going on to this, let's even go on to the monthly time frame. How about that? Let's go on to the monthly time frame real quick. Forget about this fib, and we can see multiple instances right here. Like, look, we see the support that price was using right here. We see the resistance right here. We see the support again right here. Resistance right here. Support. Resistance again right here. Some support over here at those levels. We have support at that level. Resistance here. Like, you see, this is a major zone, right? And even if I'm being like completely like kosher, as it like, not kosher, but if I'm being completely like real with myself here, let me draw this on real quick, hold on. If I'm being real with myself right here, I have to be like, okay, but this monthly candle, from the way how price dropped, I can still expect price to come up to this zone of like 99.142 or 97.868. If I'm looking at this like previous drop, where price had dropped from March of 2020 down to, well, yeah, like basically like June of 2021, right? So again, we could still see price going bullish. On the monthly time frame, it's above the 50 EMA, so that's something to definitely watch for. I'm gonna hide it. So yeah, as of right now, I'm just being extremely patient with the DXY. It's very bullish weekly, very bullish move. At this, I would have to wait for a retracement, and then I would try to probably buy again. Like, I'd probably have to look at this type of play right here, quite honestly, before I'm like, okay, am I gonna buy the DXY, or am I just gonna like just leave it alone, right? So this is what I'm gonna be looking for, depending on what the daily time frame price action is gonna be looking like. That's when I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm not going to necessarily try to get into a buy on the DXY, and this can definitely take a couple of weeks before this plays out, right? This is what I ultimately want to see though. So get that buy box up in there. Oh, actually, and then actually I'm gonna draw that 93.869, and then I also know again that the possibility of price, just from like when it fell down here and when it really took off, I do know that the opportunity of price coming down to like 94.267 and then going bullish, I know that exists as well, but that's not what I'm necessarily watching for. Again, I want to see more of price coming down back into this area to make and again, it's just depending on what the price action is going to look, because I don't want to say that it's going to come down over here to make traders think that it's going to end up going bearish when then it's going to continue going bullish. It will all depend on how price gets there, right? But after a big move like this, I'm not going to try to jump right into these sells as much as I would want to, you know. So we will see. Let's see what arbitrage is talking about, because arbitrage is what will be giving me entry for any of these type of trades regardless, right? So monthly time frame price is currently at that RSI line. That RSI line is huge for me, right? If I'm seeing price rejecting off of this RSI line, this is where it's like, okay, if the DXY, because it called for a sell all the way down here, I would never try to get into a sell that low. But with the monthly looking like this, I'm like, okay, if price holds here and price is currently under the mean line, if price holds here, then I'm all for the sells, right? I'm all for the sells, but I would need more confluences to tell me that, oh, this thing is gonna drop. Going on over to the weekly time frame, as I had mentioned, for the past couple of weeks, I'm really like, okay, this just looks like prices is going to keep going. Price is currently at the second deviation. This is where, if I were to expect price to start to turn around off of the weekly time frame, it would be kind of at these levels, if not at the third deviation. But that's just like, not overkill necessarily, but if price did end up going up to to the third deviation, I'm like, damn, DXY, you just pushing it, aren't you? And again, we've had multiple weeks of bulls, like the bullish run, bullish momentum. Daily time frame, prices above the second deviation. And again, if I were to say that price is going to turn around somewhere, it might be turning around over here. But it's like way too early to tell. Way too early to tell. After this type of move that the DXY made, yeah, it's way too early to tell for that. 4 hour time frame. Very bullish 4 hour time frame. Again, way too early to call for a reversal, but I'm pretty sure that 1 hour might be setting up. Yeah, so the 1 hour time frame, it looks like they might be looking for a drop. I like these type of plays on arbitrage, quite honestly, because they do be giving some nice, after a big move, it's like, okay, well, now the reversal is probably going to start happening soon, so you might want to get in it. So that's one thing with the DXY, right? I would be looking for the drop at this point, but I'm gonna go ahead and set my alert to tell me, oh, you gotta get out of here, gotta get out the shorts. But I do like the sell opportunity for the DXY right now, so we'll see what goes on with that. Let's go on over to Euro USD. This was a trade that I think I had talked about last week multiple times. Price ended up doing the digital dash to the downside. But let's go on over now. This is fresh start, fresh week, fresh start, fresh everything, right? So we're looking at the weekly time frame on the on Euro USD. Is basically like I usually say, the exact opposite of what the DXY is, right? We can see that price right here, right now, is currently rejecting off of this zone, and this is where it started rejecting at, up here at around 1.15255, right? That's where price started at first rejecting, and then it finally ended up pushing even lower to 1.14450, right? And again, just like with the DXY, if we go on over to the monthly time frame, you can see much clearer how this is a very main zone. Like right here, we see price was used as support multiple times on this, as resistance multiple times on this zone right here, all between 1.14365 and 1.15255, right? Again, same here. We see that price used here as resistance, and then when price came above it, we used it as support all right through here, used it as support till it came back in between it again and used it as resistance. So ultimately, I'm not necessarily super against the DXY continuing onto the downside. Only thing I'm not necessarily in love with at this point in time is because, well, just look at it before. At first, with this bullish move, and then the retrace and from 1.03559 to 1.25513 on EU, price had came down to the 78.6, rejected very nicely, and then went bullish, right? What I'm kind of now wanting to see on the DXY long term at this point in time, unless price is gonna really hold where it's currently at right now. Oh, never mind. Are you kidding me? Oh, never mind. I was about to say. I was like, wow. I didn't think that was what it was. I would want to see price ultimately coming back down to like 1.12950 or 1.11386 before I start to see it go bullish again. I can't. And the reason why is that I can't deny that after on the monthly time frame on Euro USD, price was very bearish, but then it ended up breaking through these lower highs because that's what these were. This was lower highs, and then price made a lower low right here, broke above this structure, which now made this the low, and then this is the high, lower high. It hasn't made it's made a higher low, but it hasn't made a higher high yet, so that's why I'm just like, okay, if this is going to make a higher high, and at this point it's going to do one of two things: either A, hold right here where it's at right now, which if I'm not mistaken, I feel like this might be where price is currently at, the 50% Fibonacci. Let me go ahead and see what this is looking like. Style 0.5. Okay, just around the 50% Fibonacci level, right? It's not terrible fib level. That's not what we use though. We don't next wave. We don't like the 50% necessarily. We rather the 61.8, 71%, or 78.6. So ultimately, I would still kind of want to see, especially since I'm seeing on the monthly time frame prices under this 50 EMA. I want to see at this point 1.11386 get hit before price tries to make a higher high. Right now, that is again if Euro USD is gonna break through this zone. Price can still hold here and then end up turning around. Price can leave a wick to the downside and then go bullish or something like that. But ultimately, that's basically what I'm seeing on Euro USD right now. Like, I wouldn't necessarily try to get into buys at this point when price is just proving that it's making lower highs and lower lows, especially on the daily time frame. So yeah, at this point, that's what I'd be more keen on seeing. I'm gonna actually put this right here. Long term 71% buys. And I'm gonna leave that there. And I'm gonna see how this is gonna pan out. But to me personally, it just looks like it's just gonna keep pushing to the downside. These daily candles, I like how price is starting to slow down. We might start to get retracements like how we were seeing here. We might see that, but we might also see like we had where price dropped a little bit, just retraced small and then fell again. We could see that as well. But again, I'm gonna be very patient when it comes to Euro USD right now. In fact, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I needed trying to change these so it's more distinctive. That might be hard for some people to see it, but let me see actually. Yeah, that green actually might be pretty solid. Alright. So yeah, definitely gonna watch for this zone where price is currently at, but I'm kind of aiming for 1.1400 long term wise. That can take weeks, that can take months. That's kind of what I'm like watching for longer term wise. But if price is going to reject where it's currently at, then hey, maybe we could find some potential opportunities, right? But ultimately, if I were to look for any type of opportunities on EU at this point in time, I would need to see these equal lows get taken out, breakout, retest, continuation. That's what I would have to see for me to get into a buy at this point in time. I wouldn't just try to get into a buy like right now, you know what I'm saying? So gonna be patient, wait for it, not trying to hop into anything. I know that arbitrage on the 1 hour, it's starting to set up for a potential buy. And again, it'd be the same type of play that I just drew out, where I was like, okay, we got the breakout, retest, continuation. That'd be cool. That'd be solid, but it's kind of risky because the 4 hour, daily, weekly on arbitrage is all bearish. It's all bearish. So trying to go up against just that 1 hour time frame. I know the 30 minute and 15 minute, they're all setting up as well, but it's just, yeah, I'd rather wait for the breakout than the retest before I try to even play off of this arbitrage move, you know? So we'll see what goes on. But EU trying to hop into it right now or any time too early, I feel like it's just a detriment to you as a trader. All right, so let's go on over to AUD USD. I had talked about this. Where is it at? Where is this short position? Right here. This just short trade that I had called a few weeks ago. I think I called it like around. It was either on the week of the 25th or I think it was the week of the 18th. I think it was the week of the 18th that I called for this swing sell right here. Price had moved 1-to-1. That's like about 176 pips. In total, price moved almost 200 pips, 191 pips in our favor for these sells. So that's pretty awesome, right? And so what I'm going to do now is copy this. I'm going to post this on a different chart real quick. Sorry, guys. And this is on capital.com. Okay, I'm going to post that right there. And then I remember a couple months back, I called for this swing buy. And I had even mentioned that, yo, I suggest taking, if not all your profits, but most profits from this trade. I'm also gonna copy this and then place it over here real quick. And this is just so that that's totally wrong. That's not the entry or anything like that. You know what? I'll just go back and see what the charts. I'll just go back and look at this later, because 0.7032, 0.74669, have all that. I'll just look back at it on the recording. Remove drawings. Okay. USD, AUD USD. Right now, AUD USD. I'm in a dilemma where I'm still thinking that this can potentially go bullish, right? I love the bearish candles. I love the evening star we had here, where we had not necessarily a doji candle, but a bearish engulfing candle right after the candle, and then price ended up falling a little bit more. I love seeing that, right? Love it, love it, love it. I cannot ignore, though, that there is this zone that price is currently at, you know? And it's been, you know, it's been at this zone before, where it rejected off of it, but then fell, came back up. Like, it's been playing around in this zone. I can't, like, deny that fact, but I also am still kind of suspect to thinking, is this going to be bearish or is it going to continue going bullish, right? Just going back from the same type of analysis that I had before, where I had from these lows to those to the highs. So the lows of 0.69919 to the highs of 0.80138. Let me make this yellow because it's definitely a huge move. Price had held at this zone, right? At this demand zone, if you will. It held at this buy box, demand zone, whatever you want to call it, and it went bullish, right? It gave some bullish momentum. That's cool. However, once I saw that this buy was like, it's moved a decent amount, I've moved my stop loss to break even on that, and I've taken, I'm out that buy trade basically from like right over here. Basically, I'm out the buy trade. That's weird. I think that was my phone. I thought I called its name. But anyways, what I had then seen was that, okay, I can't ignore that from this drop, that this is the drop that really like made things happen. That from that drop, price was holding right here at this 61.8 zone, right? That was the number one thing that I had noticed at first. And then I also said the same thing when price was down over here. I'm like, okay, look, even from this drop and then price retracing, it came a little bit above the 78.6, but then it came right back down to it. With me seeing those two things, I'm like, okay, is this necessarily going to go bullish? It can. It still, and it very well still can from where it's standing at right now, but with how the DXY is and how like the bears have really like been coming up as of late, these past couple of days, I still feel like this can go, it can still make lower lows. So as of right now, you know, I'm in that swing sell. I'm still going to hold that swing sell. I do know that the possibility of price going bullish from right where it's currently at, right off the 71%, that actually looks really nice. And it's a I would say that this is in a bullish engulfing candle. I would definitely have to agree to that for AUD USD. So right now AUD USD is kind of in a iffy spot for me, because I do see the buys most definitely, but if I were to buy this at this point in time, it makes me want to get out of that sell now. That's a pretty bullish move. If I were to see something like this, where I see price come down to like 0.72940, then I might look to get into a buy opportunity on AUD USD. But it's all going to depend on how it looks when price gets there as well, right? Let me go ahead and actually leave an alert there. So so that I can see what price is going to do once it gets there. I do like how on the lower time frames it's breaking through lower highs. I do like that for sure. On the 1 hour time frame, it's broken through. I would consider this to be the most recent lower high, or even this lower high that it's broken through. I like seeing that, so you know, we'll see how this retracement goes on AUD/USD for a potential bullish move before it continues to go bearish. But I personally do feel like AUD/USD is going to continue falling. But again, it could hold right where it's at. It could hold right where it's at. I would want to see it come down to 0.72940 before I try to get into anything. But yeah, don't want to take away from the fact that from the bullish move that many may have capitalized off of, that now the retracement that is made, this is just, like I said, it's just the retracement. Whether it's from this low and then price went bullish, or from, sorry, let me repeat what I just said because I said it terribly. Whether if it's from this bullish move and the retracement for it to continue going bullish here, or if it's from this bullish move from down at 0.71680 to these highs and the retracement right off of the 71% for it to go bullish. Whichever one it is, I know that the possibility of AUD/USD going bullish from here exists, right? Again, though, I'm just going to wait and see if this is what's going to play out and if I'm going to get into the buys. If I get into the buys, I'm most likely going to have my stop loss below these lows right here. I'm not going to lie to you, because right here, it just looks like to me that there was these equal lows that traders might have tried to be like, okay, a double bottom, I'm going to try to buy it. But what price ended up doing was dropping even lower, taking stop losses out, and now going bullish. If it's going to retrace, continue to the upside, absolutely, I'm going to get in there, you know. So we'll see what happens with AUD/USD. But I'm kind of liking how it did do that fake out to the downside, then pushed up like that. I like that a lot. So we'll see what goes down with AUD/USD. Going over to arbitrage, 1 hour time frame already called for the buy. Unless I was paying cold hard attention to that, I would not have taken that trade. 4 hour time frame still very much bearish, just like the daily, the weekly. Oh well, the daily time frame. This just looks kind of it doesn't know what it wants to do with this AUD/USD right here. Right? Yeah, that AU buy looks pretty popping. Weekly time frame has just been consolidating a little bit over here on the weekly. So yeah, I really do want to see this AU play out. This is probably what I would get into for a potential buy, rather than me trying to buy EU where it's at. I kind of like the buys better for AUD/USD instead. So this is gonna be in my watch list. It's already green, and again, if price drops down there and it looks like it wants to reverse, then I'm most likely gonna end up getting out of my AUD/USD swing sell for the meantime. But we'll see what goes down with that. UCHF, these swing buys, man. I did an analysis on Friday. I did my analysis on Friday. I actually forgot to post that analysis on Next Wave website. Sorry, y'all. But I was saying that I'm taking my partial profits up over here at like 96 pips on UCHF, and I'm moving my stop loss to break even from this swing buy. So that's just something that I wanted to reiterate, just in case there are those who are still in this trade. Again, my stop loss is at break even. I took my partial profits up here, and I'm totally okay with that. I was risking 125 pips. Price moved a total of 108 pips. So I'm not even mad about that. So I'm gonna go ahead, have this up here so that I can look at it later on. Okay, fresh chart, right? Going over to the weekly time frame. All right, USD CHF, bullish engulfing candle from this previous. I wouldn't consider this a doji by any means, but this is a bullish engulfing candle to that previous one on the weekly, and price is currently over the 50 EMA, but price has just been playing along with this 50 EMA, so it doesn't even really matter like that. This was the bull play, the buy play that I was trying to get into, or not trying, but I had said let's get into it, where price from the low of 0.90214 to the high of 0.93713, price ended up retracing into that 78.6 and went bullish after that. Stop loss, I mean, if you took the entry right here, then yeah, your stop loss better be at break even. So that's one thing that I've already like established in the past. I expect this to continue going bullish. I'm not really a fan of this Friday candle close. I'm not a fan of it at all, because that just makes me feel like, okay, price is just going to end up turning around. So that's number one. Let me mark this down over here. Number two, price, I'm still watching to see what it's going to do up over here once it comes into this supply zone. Okay, want to see what that's going to be like, because overall this could still very well be a bearish market, like for UCHF, you know. I love the way how the DXY has been very bullish, but I'm not seeing, I mean, I am seeing bullishness in UCHF, and I love to see it, but I'm not seeing the same amount of bullish like intensity as the DXY does, you know. I feel like the CHF is gaining strength against the US dollar that also is gaining strength. So UCHF is really, I mean, the Swiss franc or France or whatever it's called is like, you know, holding UCHF from taking off, right? From this bearish move that price had made, the retracement, that's what this bearish move has been playing off of, right? So again, I love seeing this buy play and this bullish engulfing candle with all that others. But again, this candlestick right here on Friday, the way how it's looking, I don't necessarily like it. I'm just like, could be a potential turnaround right there. But who knows, right? I'm gonna go ahead and delete this here. I know there's a big zone right here that price is making a whole lot of noise at, where we have price used here as resistance, basically a resistance. It faked out a little bit. Support. So again, right where the zone is at, it's not a place where I'm trying to trade at necessarily, you know. I would rather wait for, like, going on to the lower time frames, same thing. Ooh, what did I just do? There we go. Okay. Kind of the same thing as what I was saying with AUD USD, is if I were to try to play this at this point in time, I like how price, I wouldn't say that these are equal highs right there. I would say more, even with this, I wouldn't say there's equal highs, I suppose. I would say the only way that I would trade this, if I'm seeing, like, again, if price does a retracement back into this zone and it shows me the price action, that's where I would look to try to sell it off. I don't want to necessarily see the DXY just continue going bullish right now, or I don't want to see UCHF continue going bullish and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna set a sell limit here, and then although price has been going extremely bullish for the past couple of days, and it's showing me that, like, let's just say, like, we get a bullish engulfing candle like this bearish candle right here. Let's see if we get a bullish engulfing candle to the upside of it. I'm not gonna try to sell it off of that. I'm gonna wait and see if price is gonna slowly climb up there and then fall, you know. So that's what I'm looking at for UCHF. I'm still pretty bullish on this overall, but if I can get this small play for an intraday type of play, that would be what I would want, right? We have the weekly time frame on arbitrage. Price is still holding under this upper danger zone right here, so that's something to watch out for. It's still bullish. Daily time frame, it called for the sells right here. I would not have gone into that, and price is currently under the RSI line. So UCHF, same thing. It's not like for the higher time frames, it's not necessarily showing that, hey, you want to buy it. 4-hour time frame, it called for this buy right here. I would not have gone into this, but this thing took off a little bit. And 1-hour time frame, it's setting up for a potential sell. So that's where I'm like, the arbitrage plays, they look pretty nice. I would rather wait for price to scoot up a little bit more, like I had already mentioned, but price falling and retracing a little bit, I'm not against it, right? I'm not 100% against it. Ultimately, if I were to say I were to try to get into another buy opportunity with UCHF, it'd have to be something like this, where price came down to like 0.91418, held, and then went bullish. But I'm gonna just wait and see what price does until Tuesday before I make that type of decision. Right now, I'm okay with the swing buy. I've already taken partials from it. I'm just gonna let the thing ride. Okay. Tacos. I dropped the ball here. I'm not even gonna talk about this. I've already said it in the chat that when price was here, I ended up getting out early. Price ended up taking off. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's go on to the weekly time frame on USD Mexican pesos. So, weekly time frame, not last week, but the week before, I wasn't so crazy over how this weekly candle looks. I still don't like how it looks, but I do like how price is maintaining above the 50 EMA on the weekly time frame. So that's something that I'm going to, just point out. I would rather just get like this. I'd rather get up here rather than down over there, because as much as I know that there is a zone there, it's more of a lower time frame zone than a higher time frame. But yeah, so there's this big zone, USD Mexican. I mean, I don't think it goes back that far. Yeah, but basically this zone is a zone that USD Mexican loves to hold some resistance at. Gonna also draw this zone up above it just cause I can. I just want to see the distance between one zone to another. Damn. Okay, daily time frame. Double tops, that's only making me believe, well, I mean, I'm seeing the double tops, but then I see that price went up a little higher than the previous ones, and that makes me think that it's okay, I'm just grabbing liquidity here, right? From these highs that price has made to the lows, price has already retraced to the 61.8 and then ended up falling right after. Let me go on to the 4-hour time frame. And then ended up falling right with, dang, those bearish candles. But that's the thing with USD Mexican though. It will give you some big candles that you might be afraid of, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything to it, because I mean, we see these bearish candles right here then the bullish. I mean, well, this is just a 100% retracement. Usually with 100% retracements, that means price is just going to turn around. But the way how USD Mexican really just came up here after price made a double top, it just makes me believe that it's going to end up falling. It's just the way how it played out. It just went bullish, retraced, went bullish again, made equal highs, consolidated until it went and took out the equal highs right here, then ended up falling. That only makes me believe that this is going to end up pushing to the downside a little bit more. And just so we are very clear, USD Mexican is still high key just consolidating in a zone on the higher time frames. Very much so just consolidating in between this zone right here. So I mean, it came over here, went bullish a little bit, but then came back down, up, came back down, it's up over here, came to the middle, up over here again. But it's just basically in between this zone of 19.82627 and 19.65 to the highs of 20.95. It's just been consolidating in this zone. So it's like, as much as I do want to see USD Mexican go bullish, it's just playing games right now. And you know, at this point, I'm out of the market for USD Mexican, and I don't necessarily see anything except for, you know, again, I can't not see these equal highs just get taken out and then price drop like that. So I kind of want to just see at this point what price is going to do at 20.64571, and if it decides to show some good rejections, I might try to end up taking the sell. We'll see what happens with USD Mexican, but again, it's a pair that I'm kind of not even that interested in at this point. If I see different markets with better opportunities, I'd rather take those instead. 4-hour time frame is calling for the buys, so again, that's something that you can see them like, oh, well, I want to buy it, but I mean, it's already hit the targets multiple times that I would try to hit if I was on the 4-hour. Daily time frame, I wouldn't try to sell it looking like this above the RSI line, especially if it's calling for a sell and price is above the RSI line. So that's me personally. And then the weekly, remember I said that, oh, this weekly time frame, I was waiting for it for a long time. Price ended up pushing up. Overall, I'm just saying that, like, off of these swings, personally, I've been eating off of them, so I'm just like, at this point, not necessarily seeing what direction it wants to go. I'm just gonna let it do its thing, right? So that's for USD Mexican. As I said, I'm out the market for that, so I'm out the market for gold as well. So let's talk about gold, everyone's favorite. All right, so I had talked about this sell on gold. Price had retraced, like price had dropped a little bit, hit take profit 1, dropped 151 pips, and then ended up going bullish right again, taking me out the trade. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a whole brand new analysis on gold, because although I do see this weekly bullish candle right here, that's just something that I'm like, okay, you got to be careful, because that weekly, the way how it closed is just like, man, might want to be careful with that because gold might just take off. But I feel still the same way how I felt last week. Not that. Where am I looking for? Ah, yes, there we go. So this retracement from the highs of 1916 to the lows of 1676, price pushed up. It's still holding at this level from all of last week. Let's look at the daily time frame. Had about like 2 to 3 days of consolidation. Price is still holding here. And you know, again, for my swingers, for my swing traders, this is the best pricing that I would get for gold if I'm really trying to swing this bad boy. You know, the risk reward, it definitely is like I like the risk reward. The risk reward is epic. I just kind of want to be at this point a little safe trying to get into this, rather than trying to just hop in after 4 days of consolidation. I love seeing the 4 days of consolidation. I do. I'll put my stop loss probably at 1920. There we go. Just because 1920 is such an even number, I want to put this at 1925, you know? But anyways, having a stop loss at 1920, your risk to reward for this trade is a 1 to 3.42, and this, I feel like it will take weeks for it to play out. And that's just from the 78.6 to these equal lows. That's not talking about going to these extensions. Going to the extensions, your risk to reward becomes a 1 to 6. Now, putting your stop loss at 1925, which was what I would personally recommend if you're trying to get into a swing sell, that makes your risk to reward a 1 to 5.62, which is still amazing. But again, it's just the way how price came up here. I do understand that there are these equal highs that I wanted price to run through, and it definitely did that. But now I want to see some daily candlesticks that are telling me that it's going to fall, and that's not what we have here. We just have like this previous daily candlestick. It just looks like price wants to go a little higher, but I like this swing sell. Despite all of what I just said, I do like this swing sell. The only way that I'm really gonna feel like this is like gold is gonna go bullish for sure is when I see these highs of 1925 like broken through and holding above. Then I'll be like, okay, that's a break of structure. I'd wait for a retracement. Then I'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna look for buys. Until then, though, I'm still pretty bearish on it. So that's for the swings. That's for the swings. If you want to get in now, like I said, this is probably the best pricing that you would be able to get the sells at, or where I would get the sells at. I would say this is the best possible pricing. Looking over here at gold, lower time frames, right? I mean, we naturally see these equal highs. They can just get ran through, then price drops back down or something like that. That's cool. For me to say that I would be more comfortable trying to get into this gold buy or gold sell for the swing, that would be like, this would be the safer mode, right? Where you see price break through these lows, drop, then come back up for the retracement, and then continue falling. That would be safer, and that would be at that would be around the 71% fib level. So I'll change this color right here real quick. Okay, so that would be basically the play that I would look for if I was being more safe, if I didn't want to just hop into a short position on gold right now. Again, just to reiterate, that sell on gold, the pips would be a good amount. That's 598 pips, $600 or 600 pips. If you were to place a 0.01 lot size and you were to lose, that's $60. I'm not sure how many people would want to trade a swing trade for like a 0.03, and then if you lose, that's $180. You know, because that's if you were to use proper, like if you were trading 1% off of a $20,000 account, that'd be 1% of your account, right? $200, a 0.03. Not sure how many people would trade that, or if they would rather just wait a couple hours. Oops. Or if you would just wait like a couple hours, maybe a day or two, for price to drop, retrace, come back up to this 1850, and then get into a sell where you're looking for price to drop lower, and your stop loss would be above these highs, where you can risk a little more, because then now the stop loss is 219 rather than trying to get a stop loss of 600 or something like that, you know. So it's just different. It's different folks, different strokes for different folks. But again, I've given the safer entry for a gold potential swing opportunity, and also like, oh, get in like right now if you will. But I'm definitely feeling the swing sells on gold. Arbitrage is definitely going to tell me, you better not sell this. And that's exactly what it's showing me. Called for a buy last week. I would not have personally got into that. But man, the way how this thing is looking, again, is like, oh, you better not try to sell me, because you might get burnt. That's what it's kind of looking like. Price on the daily time frame has came to the third deviation, and it is very much surpassed the second deviation. So although it's too early, if price were to turn around, I would be expecting it to turn around here. Same thing on the 4 hour. Price currently at the second deviation, and it held. Again, if there was any word that I would expect this to turn around, it would be around this area. 1 hour time frame hasn't called for a sell yet, so swing sells, as much as they're kind of risky right now, it's not, because again, you're in a swing sell, you know that it's going to take a couple of weeks, maybe even months. That's a position sell. My position, once you start talking about like anything longer than 2 weeks, that's a position sell, a position trade in my opinion. But for gold to do this, for it to do a drop like this, I would probably expect, if it's going to happen, that it's going to happen probably around Christmas or New Year's time, you know. And I mean, just think about it. Christmas is a month and some days away, so even that, it doesn't sound realistic. Like, this is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. From here to here, this is all of what 2021 was of gold. Just in between 1924 and like 1666. That's what gold has been all of 2021. So yeah, let's see what goes on for reals. But I do enjoy these sells on gold. Let's go on over to S&P. S&P is doing its thing. Well, I had talked about this buy opportunity on S&P, and I was like, hey, look, it's either that this is what's going to play out on S&P, which I was like, this is more than likely what's going to play out, or it's going to be this play right here, where price is going to come a little lower, although the price really did come to the 71%, lift the wick, and then continue going bullish, right? So S&P, I expected to just keep making higher highs, you know. I had discussed this trade on US 30, and you know, I mean, my TP1 is about to get hit shortly, hopefully at least. But it was basically the same thing. Like, okay, after this bullish move, the retracement, the continuation is what I would look for a buy. And so, I mean, yeah, these US indices, they're built to buy. BTB, like I say that all the time, they're built to buy. Arbitrage, if you want, we can take a look at it, but I'm pretty sure the daily in them are all bullish. It's only the 4 hour that's like, oh, I'm looking for sell opportunities. I'm not gonna sell. Daily time frame, extremely bullish. Again, it's at the second deviation, but it's too early to tell if it's gonna turn around. Weekly time frame just came over here to like basically bounce off of the the RSI line and an upper danger zone, then go bullish to make higher highs. Yeah, that's just the US indices for you, right? They're built to buy. Okay, going on over to the cryptos. Bitcoin, man, doing your thing. I like that. I like seeing that. All right, so analysis that I did. Oh man, you know, I'm gonna be mad if Ripple isn't doing something like this, because I risked more on Ripple than I did on Bitcoin. But I was saying that, hey, so from this previous buy that we capitalized off of, where price went from the lows of 60,106 to the highs of basically 69,000, right? Not even basically, like the highs of 69,000. The retracement down to the 78.6, which is right at that 62,700, is where I wanted to get a buy entry at, and then see if price is going to continue making higher highs up to 74,626, right? Next wave and DeFi domination traders, you guys are the only ones that were able to see that, right? So I still feel the same way about Bitcoin. I still feel the same way about Bitcoin. I still feel like this is gonna go bullish. It's currently was risking basically 3,000 pips, and price is currently up 3,000 pips. I'm moving my stop loss to break even. Awesome. But again, I'm kind of upset because I put more of my risk on Ripple than I did on Bitcoin. And before I got on here, I checked, and I'm like, my guy, what are you doing here? You sleeping? So that's for Bitcoin though. I do feel like it's going to keep going bullish. However, you know how I am, looking at the flip side of things, although this is a very bullish market, I do know that the possibility, especially with the way how price fell down, I do know that the possibility of price coming up to like 67,154, consolidating there, and potentially falling, I do know that exists. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw this zone out and have it there, chilling. Supply chilling like a villa on the east side, but otherwise, we end this and stop losses at break even. Again, those who are in DeFi domination and next wave, I had talked about this trade opportunity. It looks like it's smacking right now. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin though. I'm not necessarily gonna go way into depth with this. 1 hour time frame has been pretty sideways because it was consolidating down there a lot. So I wasn't necessarily paying attention to Bitcoin on this weekend. I was just like letting it do its thing. Currently watching this arbitrage on the 4 hours, seeing if price is going to hold at this upper danger zone. I feel like it's not going to hold. I feel like price is going to keep going a little bit higher. Again, 67,000, very, very close. Price is at almost 66,000. I mean, price did go up to 66,000. So 67,000 is very close on Bitcoin. Daily time frame, extremely bullish. Still has not tried to call for a sell yet. A weekly time frame, yeah, I called for a buy basically a month ago, and just like how Peyton had mentioned with Bitcoin, whenever on the monthly time frame we have a bullish candle looking like this bullish candle took out like basically this bullish candle and this bullish candle, right? When you see a bullish candle like that, more times than not, price is going to continue going bullish. I like how the weekly candle ended up closing. I remember on Friday, I was saying that I didn't like how the weekly candle was looking on Bitcoin, but now that it's closed like that, it looks much better to me. Let me close this so that you can see it a little better. Right? It is a larger wick to the upside than the candle, but the candle, this candle body is basically the same as this candle body. So still gonna hold it, still gonna see what's up with this Bitcoin buy, but yeah. It's going over to Ripple again. I'm gonna be like, my guy, I don't know why those are not green, but yeah, okay, Ripple's doing its thing. I like that. Finally, 10 years later, We got some action. And it's the same thing, right? Bullish move, the retracement, continuation to the upside. It's not as far away from entry as Bitcoin, but I do still expect this to keep going bullish. Those are my targets, obviously, 1.2800, 1.34800, all that stuff. Those are my entries. Same thing with Bitcoin. I expect this to make higher highs. I do really, I would love to see, even before the end of November, for Ripple to hit $1.50. That'd be very lovely to see. 1 hour time frame. I know the 50 EMA price is finally above it. Yeah, let's keep it going. It's been consolidating all weekend, but now that we're seeing some action on Bitcoin, we're seeing similar action on Ripple. So going over to arbitrage, I think except for on the day, 1 hour was very sloppy. 4 hour time frame, holding right at that RSI line on the 4 hour. Don't like seeing that necessarily. Ooh, this is something to watch for sure. But I do like how price was holding here at this lower danger zone. Daily time frame, price is still above the RSI line, and it's calling for buys. So I like that. Rejected off of the upper danger zone here. And so yeah, like I'm still pretty bullish on Ripple as well. On the weekly, it never called for a sell, so that's one thing to peep game for sure. Ethereum to the moon. Keep going, man. Keep, like, what are you doing? Don't stop. Keep going. But anyways, and same thing on the analysis I had mentioned with Ethereum. I don't know why I didn't try to get into Ethereum right here. It gave me multiple opportunities earlier today. Well, that was weird. But yeah, it gave me multiple opportunities to try to buy Ethereum right here. Never happened. I never got in right here, unfortunately. But yeah, I expect 5K to get hit very shortly on Ethereum. Like 5K is coming, like no cap. If it doesn't this week, I'd actually really be surprised if Ethereum doesn't get to 5K this week. So let's see what happens. And again, arbitrage is just to the moon with Ethereum. Caught it down here in April. I wish I would have got in here in April. Oh man, it is what it is. You live and you learn. Daily time frame, nowhere near calling for that buy. 4 hour time frame, it's right there at that RSI line, but I wouldn't try to get into a sell right here personally. And 1 hour time frame, it was just looking sloppy, so no 1 hour for me. All right, now let's go on over to the GBPs, and then we are out of here. All right, so GBPUSD, this was a swing sell opportunity that I had been talking about for weeks now. I wanted to see price come and make a retracement before continuing to fall. It never did that, and even came below these equal lows, or it came below these lows that I had drawn down here. So at one point, I already have all that in my head, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove drawings. Going over to, well, not in my head, like I have it, so I can go back and look at it on the recording. But going on over to the weekly time frame, this to me it's not necessarily three black crows, but this just looks to me like GU wants to continue to go bearish on the weekly time frame, right? Let me go ahead and draw out the zone that I know that it's here. Right, so I mean we can kind of somewhat argue that, oh, what this can possibly be is that this is what it was before, right? We had this zone that price was respecting, and what this can really be is that it's just, oh, I'm gonna go a little lower, break out to the upside, retrace, and continue going to the upside on GU. That could be what's going on, but just based off of how this bearish candle popped up, and then price is the way how price has been moving with GU for the past couple of weeks. Because I'm just not even past couple, I'll just say for these past weeks, just from this high to this low, retracement back up to the 78.6 perfectly, and then drop like that, I would think that GU is going to keep falling personally. So let me delete this right here real quick. So what I would say right now for GU is that if I were to try to get into a buy, it wouldn't be right here, and I'm not even sure that if it retraced back down to like 1.3750 or something like that, if I would try to get into a buy. I'm not even sure if I would do that, because I do like, yes, the way how price is currently above the 50 EMA on the 1 hour. I do enjoy seeing that, and I do enjoy seeing that, okay, well, these are equal lows right here. Like if you talk about from this wick and then price coming back down to it and then consolidating a little bit, I'm just gonna leave it right there. You can kind of argue and say that, oh well, price ended up going to the downside, and then it's broken through this lower high right here, because this was the lower low, then price made a lower high, made a lower low, this was the previous lower high again, like I mentioned, and the price broke through it. So it could be, oh, it's a breakout, retest, and then continuation type of move. I'm going to repeat though, I'm not so certain that I would try to get into this type of trade. I would watch for it. I'm definitely going to watch for it, no cap, and see what the price action is going to be, maybe during the London session or something like that, but it's kind of iffy. So we'll see what happens with GU right there. I would love to start seeing it turn around though, no cap. But again, I would have to see it make a retracement before doing such. And let me make this a little lower so that this looks more valid. Okay, so that's what I have for GU. Let's go on over to arbitrage. I'm still in that swing sell. Okay, daily time frame still very much bearish. Weekly time frame still very much bearish. Called for a perfect sell on that. This was a nice sell. This was a very nice sell on GU on the weekly, although it was threatening to actually not be a sell, but still ended up playing out nicely. 4 hour time frame still very much bearish, so the 1 hour would be the only play to kind of look at. This would have hit if I would have gone into it, because bullish, retraced, it would have been a nice buy right there. But at the same time, again, I'm just like, at this point, let's see what's gonna happen. I'd rather get into the buy with something like this, or something like this. Like if price really retraced and came down, then that would actually more than likely play out like something like this on arbitrage, which I am totally here for. I would totally be like, oh heck yeah, it's coming back down to reject both the RSI line and the lower danger zone. Yeah, let's get it. I would definitely try to get into a buy like that for GU, right? So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens on that play. It's going over to GBP AUD. Okay, so I still definitely, I'm still in this buy, and I had mentioned that, oh well, what I would want to see for me to get back in another entry into this, because I'm not gonna like redraw GA right now, or you know what? Yeah, I will. Let me not be stingy. It's just because I'm still in some of these trades. That's the reason why I don't want to. Okay, have that all down so that I can just go back to the recording and copy if I need to. New drawings. Okay, weekly time frame. After this drop, price retraced a little bit and dropped a little bit more. Still looks pretty damn bearish to me. Looks very bearish to me. Weekly time frame, I don't like necessarily how price is rejecting off of those 50 EMAs like that. The previous weekly candle, it looked more bearish than the current bearish candle. But with the current, not the current, but last week's candle. But this to me looks still like a shooting star. It still looks like to me that this could potentially still fall, right? And if AUD/USD is gonna go bullish, like how I'm thinking that it could. Like, let me go into the lower time frame and go again and show this again. Like, just me still think that AUD/USD could make a play like this. That could potentially make GA go continue going bearish, right? From these lows to these highs, price has basically made double bottoms right here at this 61.8 Fibonacci level. I would personally want price to come down to 1.82625 before I try to get into another sell. If I was gonna get into a sell on GA, so this would be the play I'm looking for, especially since I'm looking for I want to see buy opportunities on the GBPs right now. That would be super clutch, right? This was from the previous buy where we got the buys in this fib zone, still in that, but again, I would want to get a second entry, possibly down at 1.82625. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave an alert there, see what that's gonna, if it gets hit, I would want to see how it got hit. I do know that this candle right here is just the candlestick that closed right before, that's the candlestick that happened right before the market closed. So I'm not really going to pay attention to how that looks. Just would want to see 1.82625 or 625 get hit, and then I'll see what my options for buying GA would be when it gets there. So that's for GA. Going on over to arbitrage. 1 hour time frame. It's calling for the sells, not necessarily what I want to see. 4 hour time frame. It's not quite under the RSI line, but it's not quite over it either. So again, that's not what I want to necessarily see for buys. These indicators are showing that it's gonna possibly turn around, but too early to tell. I'd rather see a little dip. And the daily time frame is very much bearish. So trying to buy this right now, it's kind of going against arbitrage, but I'm not necessarily against it. So let's see what is going on with GA later on today, or later on tonight. Might see some opportunities, but we shall see. All right, Euro GBP, definitely gonna do a fresh drawing on this one because it definitely took me out of trade last week. I had already discussed it. So love the bearish weekly candle and love the candle right next to it. It looks like it's showing a potential reversal on GBP/JPY, right? I do know, however, though, that price is currently that wick from last week, it came down to the 61.8 and it rejected off of there, right? Going on to the daily time frame. Wait, before I even go into the daily time frame, let me go into the weekly. And I do want to show that there is this major zone right here. From the looks of that major zone, it looks like price might have just wanted to grab some liquidity, break out to the upside for a little bit, and then drop back down, right? Let's just point that out first. The way how price came down after the bullish move, the retracement, on the daily time frame, it doesn't look you know, it doesn't look that terrible. It doesn't look that bad to try to keep buying GJ, because again, GJ is more than definitely bullish. Like, this is, if you don't think that this is bullish, then I don't know what to say, right? So it could just be making this retracement from these lows to these highs down over here. I'd rather want to see 151.645. But just based off of how with the other GBP pairs that I just looked at, that might not be the case. And again, like, what I would want to see at this point before I try to get into GJ, it had these equal lows that price had broken. I want to see, and Peyton had mentioned this on his analysis, where he said, oh, well, I want to see these equal lows get broken through, highs price goes bullish, retraces, and then continues to the upside. That's why I would love to see that on GJ. Like, that would be fuego for me to get that would be my version of a revenge trade, right? Because I lost on this, took out my equal lows, but again, I would love to see the breakout to the upside, retracement, continuation for GJ, right? And if it does that, I want to see if this fall from right here and the retracement of whatever happens, if that holds, is GJ gonna start to turn around? Because I do, again, still have a funny feeling that this zone that got held right here, and price just so happened to go bearish enough to take out the equal highs and then drop back down. I feel like that might be just a setup for a potential long-term GBP JPY drop, but we'll see what happens, right? But this is ultimately what I want to see happen before I try to get into GBP JPY. That's whether if it does it right now, or if it falls even lower to like 151.634, where it does something like this. I'd be cool with it. You know, whichever one happens first, that's what I'm going to try to get into a buy on GJ. So, gonna be watching for that. It's going over to arbitrage. Oh, daily time frame calling for themselves. I had put something here. What for? Okay, price retesting this RSI line and RSI line and upper danger zone. Okay, good. That's actually pretty valid. So I'm actually gonna leave that up there. I want to see what price is going to do here. This is where I would want to see the buys play out, but it's just interesting because if price goes any lower and closes under like 152, then arbitrage is going to be more bearish than bullish on it. 4-hour time frame setting up for a potential buy, and what do you know? That would be the breakout, retest, continuation that we're really looking for the 4-hour. That's basically what I'm looking for with GJ on technical analysis. 1-hour time frame, it's already played out, but if it was iffy, I would not have played it. So, or I mean, I would have played it, might have gone out early though, no cap. Actually, is that what this was? Breakout to the upside, retraced. Wow, that is kind of what this was. Okay, I see you, GJ. I see how it rolls. I see how it be. Well, yeah. So let's see what goes down with the 4-hour time frame. That's what I'm going to be looking for on GJ. Once per bar close, create. So once it calls for that buy, I'd wait for the retracement, and then I'm in there like swimwear. All right. Euro GBP, man, this trade has been running for a minute, but I mean it's cooling, right? All right, it's going over to EG. Yeah, I had mentioned this sell opportunity. I had said that price could still come up to the sell box and end up falling. I wish I would have gone into that entry rather than where I have it now, but it's all good. Just make sure I have everything still visible, and then I'll delete all drawings. All right, so daily time frame, or let's go into the weekly. Weekly had a nice bullish engulfing candle. I like seeing that. Only thing though, it still has not created any type of bullish structure. There's still these, there's still this. Well, I mean, ultimately, it's still right here, this lower high that price that never broke through, and price did make a lower low. So this, for all we know, could be a lower high for a potential new lower low, which is what I'm kind of saying. Even the same thing with GPJPY. I don't know necessarily yet if it's bullish, right? Right now, it's still showing me signs that it's still going to be bearish for now. So let me draw this zone again. Daily time frame. I'm gonna mark this off. So with the daily, and this is even one of the reasons why I got into that sell on EG, was that I'm like, oh, well, would you look at this? From this fall, price came to this 31%, left some pretty nice wicks up there. This is definitely an evening star. Price retraced, pushed back down. I'm kind of still seeing this pushing, keep flowing, you know? I'm not necessarily feeling the buys quite yet, you know? I'm not there yet on the daily time frame. I know on the lower time frames, I'm for sure feeling the buys on the lower time frames. I'll show that right now, but let me just show that. This is what I'm seeing with the lower time frames, is that price is going to end up falling, which, let me go into the 1 hour time frame. Once I started seeing price breaking these structures, that's when I was like, okay, price may start to turn around. It was a good move to the upside. So if, yes, indeed, price is going to go bullish, I want to see how it's going to make this drop down to like 0.84650. And then if it shows some good price action down there, I'm going to definitely be looking for the continuation to the upside. And then once we get that continuation bullish move to the upside, that's when I'll be like, okay, now I am more confident with the EG buys long term. But for right now, still not there yet. Still not quite there yet. So I'm gonna leave 0.84600. I don't know why the music stopped playing, but it's all good. And so that's for EG. Gonna leave that right there. And arbitrage, I mean the 4 hour time frame, I still have it playing out the exact same way as how, the trade is already, trade's already still in play, still selling. I expect it to keep dropping. Daily time frame rejected off of the upper danger zone. Yeah, that's cool and all. Called for a buy. I would want to see it at least come to 0.8500, to say the least. And the weekly is definitely still in need of that breakout to the upside before it even thinks of selling. So, with all that being said, is there any other questions? Is there any other questions, comments, concerns before I get out of here? Let me see what these pairs are doing right now on a lower time frame while I wait for questions to dive in. Man, it looks like these things just want to go. And gold is already moving. Alright, let me see UCHF JPY. You said you are looking for price to go up to 124. Current price action. Just looking these lows. Price made some equal lows. I like the tweezer bottoms, bullish engulfing candle. Yeah, I think this can continue going bullish. I mean, I would like that idea. Right now, currently, I would say that Oh, this is definitely in a bullish move. CHF definitely bullish. It looks like it's a higher time frame head and shoulders, to be quite honest with you. But you said if you're going for 124 and you're trading it on the 15-minute, just know that where price is currently at, price could definitely just do it could just like fall from where it's currently at. It just hit the 78.6. It could definitely fall from here. Just be aware of that, especially with how the JPY pairs are right now. But to say that 124 can get hit, if you're in a buy right now, depending on what your entry was, I would personally wait for this. Unless something like it already happened, which it didn't. I would personally wait for price to possibly come back down to 123.514 for me to get into a sell. I mean, for me to get into a buy. That's what I would do personally. Again, though, it definitely can go bullish from where it's at, because on the 1 hour time frame, just looking at what price did on Friday, it left tweezer bottoms down here, bullish engulfing candle, and then continue going bullish. It could definitely keep going. You know, going on to arbitrage real quick, just to give you some more confluence. Price is above the upper danger zone. I mean, the lower danger zone and the RSI line. So yeah, man, take your shot with that buy. It looks good. This is probably going to call for a buy in the next 1 or 2 hours. So I would, if you're already in it, depending on where your entry's at, why not stay in? But it looks good. You know, I'm not really too against it. It's just depending on where the entry was, that's where I'm against. I hope that helps. All right, no other questions? No other questions? All right, no problem, no problem. Yeah, man, just stop loss is solid. And if there's no other questions, then I'm going to go ahead and hop up out of here. Thanks you guys for hopping on. I appreciate it. And let's make some money this week. Later, y'all.